one squareback chainstay. Making a champion style Redline squareback, whatever, sorta. Chainstays. Gotta do 2 different bends. Get everything set up right. I'm kind of using the machine for my demarcation points to where to put the material. And before you get to this point, you wind up scrapping a bunch of metal. And then, you know, I haven't done it in a while, so I forgot what I did last time, of course. So this time I was smart and wrote all the instructions on the tool with a Sharpie. So, then you get your second bend, like so. This flexes back a little bit, but there you go. Pretty cool. Made in my backyard. For me at least, this is the hardest part, is getting the seat stays aligned correctly. There's probably a smarter way to do it. I just find getting the miters very challenging. I've gotten better, but I'm still in the bad portions. Maybe at the tail end of bad. You gotta creep up on it. Just do a little bit of filing, and then keep checking your work. Get it to lay in there nice, so you have a nice miter, and then subsequently your welds will be better. Closer. A scotch more, perhaps. Just a scotch. What is a scotch? Just a scotch. That colloquialism dates me pretty good as a child of the 70s and 80s. So, but hey, it's the era that people are trying to recreate for some silly reason. I lived in the 80s and it sucked. People were dicks. The 80s, the decade of the dick. See, people were all coked out of their minds. And you had this senile codger in the Oval Office with his finger on the nuclear annihilation button. We did atomic strike drills. School shootings are terrible, but imagine being in the 6th grade and sitting under your desk thinking like, oh, this is going to protect me from a nuclear bomb. Yeah, I think people were on edge. So you just had to deal with a lot of that kind of attitude, you know, it's pop culture was, I guess, good. The hardcore punk was incredible. And so some of the best, I'd say, timeless stuff like Minor Threat and Bad Brains came out of that era. So, you know, you can't argue with that, but it was born out of stress. That looks pretty good. It's tricky. Someone's probably looking at this going, you idiot, you don't know what you're doing. And I'd have to agree, I don't know what I'm doing. But then again, with all skills, we all start from zero, don't we? Yeah, so, you know, it takes time to build competency. I guess I'm a little bit of a slower learner than an average person. But so what? As long as I'm willing to continue to try and accept failure as a good teacher, I think I'll get there. This is way better than when I started making bike frames. So I'm not discouraged. Alright? You just keep soldiering on and you get there sooner or later. That's it. On to the next day. It's just like a government contract. You measure with a micrometer, you mark with a marker, and you cut with a hatchet. So kind of eyeball it. You're doing a lot of eyeballing of things. You kind of want to cut a little bit outside your mark to give you some room. And like I said, there's probably a better way to do this, but my brain is not yet cognized the answer. I could look at how someone else does it, I guess. I did try looking up on the YouTubes, but I didn't find anything, so, you know, just gotta figure it out. It's okay, keeps your brain sharp. That's it. I've got all these fancy, really expensive tools that I acquired cheaply through circumstance that I won't bore you with, but it doesn't make you skilled. Probably makes it easier, but the acquisition of the skills, I think, really just comes with a lot of tenacious, kind of hard work, making lots of mistakes. So that's the way I'm looking at it. You can be a DJ or think you're a DJ and have an awesome crate of records, but it doesn't make you a DJ, does it? It does not. So I'm close. So you want to, at this point, stop using power tools and get the hand files out. I made some little marks on here where I think I need to make the miter. And I just do a couple of preliminary passes. I shouldn't be telling anybody how to build a frame because I don't know how to build a bike frame. Still basically a hack at this point. I ride a lot of bikes that I've made myself. I think that's pretty cool, regardless of the haters think, you know. I mean, as it said, when you're pointing a finger at someone, three are pointed back at yourself, so I don't really care. And, you know, you shouldn't let the opinions of others sway you so heavily in life, because they don't have the courage to try and do anything and suck at something for a long time before they get good. But they're more than quick to tell you that you suck. So don't listen to these jerks. We're close. A couple more little passes maybe. Let's see if it does the trick. This one I got almost 90% finished in a fraction of the time it took for me to do the first one. So, you know, there's something to be said about that. Whoops! You know, that guy in place. That one's there. It's up a bit higher. I'm on the right path, but a little bit more. A little bit more. Creeping inexorably forward to the objective. It's a patience game, for sure. So, I don't know if there's a metaphor there or not, but I don't believe in the concept of cheats or hacks. There's some easy path of least resistance to something valuable. Nothing in my life that is valuable was gotten easily. Everything that's been really good has been paid for with lots of toil. All that hacks and cheat codes, that's all just video game bullshit. Turn it off. Go live life. Alright, I got them in position. They're pretty close. I was trying to get them not to swoop down. They swoop down just maybe a millimeter or so. And maybe these two bend. The marks are about the same where they bend in, but also I think they're like perhaps a millimeter off. Maybe the pen marks are giving me, my monkey brain, a false reading. If I go like that, that looks pretty good. You know, so yeah. I don't have any more material. The goal is to get rid of all the stuff because it was rusting away. But yeah, so there it is. It's all tacked. It's all in position and ready to be tack welded, and then I can move forward with the next process, which is preliminary straightening, and then finish welding, and then a straightening, and then making of gussets and all that shit. So yeah, so progress. Woo! So I got these out of the way because I need to weld on top there, but before you do any welding, you gotta have everything clean and use a caliper to get each tube centered so your bike frame isn't crooked as a politician right out of the gate. You gotta do your due diligence, and then you tack it like so. Not any bike frame out there is going to be perfect, so, you know, you do what you can. Okay, time for a little tacky tacks. In here. Get this thing tack welded. Watch your eyes. You can see there that it's not clean enough. There's some contamination. So scrub it a little better. Try not to move the pieces. Double check. Knock something out of alignment. Okay, that still looks good. Okay. preliminary tack welds. Whoop! Ah! The tackles continues. We're going to tack it on both sides eventually just to keep it stable. Well, the heat pulls it one way or the other, so you got to be cognizant of that. I don't think I'm a good welder. I'd say I spent a lot of time sucking at welding, and then I'm mediocre now, which, hey, I'm pretty happy with the middle of the road. I wasn't making fighter jets before I was making bike frames, so I just don't have the skill set yet. So you gotta put some crazy hours into things to get really good. But better. Much better. Do this one. A little harder. Thick metal in the dropout. Totally missed the mark on that one. I put it adjacent. It's weld adjacent. It's worth more. Can fix it. The not knowing what I'm doing saga continues. More. Always weld in a long sleeve, even if it's hot out, because I'll tell you, man, this thing in 10 minutes you were sunburned. The TIG is so bright. I live in Cali and I like the sun. I have enough Mediterranean blood in me to protect me somewhat, but shit. I mean, you get cooked. This thing will cook you in the middle of winter and make you look like a lobster. So, just learn the hard way. Besides stabbing the hot tungsten in your leg when you're not paying attention and burning yourself, that's always fun. Okay. It's nice to use the chair, but you can do it standing up. Just like anything. Get hot enough in the puddle. Blah blah. There's tons of guys out there that are just amazing welders, and I don't know, you can tell me this stuff. Can't offer you advice there. Relationship advice, can't offer you any of that. It's never been fantastic. Whatever. But I know a bit about bikes and having fun. Okay. Moving on to the second part of the down tube. Tack on that guy. Good. We want to position another tack on C2. Always blocking the review, but sorry, I don't have a studio to make videos. I didn't really want to do any videos. Oops. Yeah, fucked up there. Got the tungsten stuck, it's no good. File that off. You know, if you don't slow down and do it right, then you just make more work for yourself in the long run. Cleaning up your mistakes, that's okay. It's all part of the process. Okay. Move on. Top tube. Looks pretty good. Like that. Go ahead and throw, oh Jesus, don't do that. Blah! Throw the second tack in there. That's good. You know, I have an auto darkening helmet and I just keep flipping it up out of habit because I didn't have one for so long. Tungsten needs to be sharpened. Drop it on the ground. That's good. Good. Alright. Progress. So the problem with the videos is any ignoramus can get up here and act like they're some master. You know, I'm not very good at this yet. It's going to take a while. I don't have a problem admitting that though. I'm not trying to act like I'm some bike making wizard. So yeah, you know, that's the problem with looking at information on the YouTubes, is you're just getting information, you're not getting knowledge. So just take anything that you see on there with probably a gallon of salt, I'd say by now. Shit. Okay, I'm going to move down to the top of the down tube here, tack on there. So, you know, that's the thing, it just, I don't want to act like I have all this expertise that I'm trying to impart upon you. I'm just showing that it can be done. You don't need fancy tools. I made lots of bikes with just like some kind of eyeball jig for years, and you know, they were rideable. You could take your hands off of them and ride them with no hands. So to me, that's a pass. I mean, your body's not symmetrical. I guess the bike doesn't need to be perfect. So that's just my opinion. But whatever. So yeah, you can already see where I've made some mistakes not cleaning. I should listen to myself sometimes. So yeah, do a little scrubby scrub with the stainless steel brush. Get your contact point nice and clean. Get that in there. And you can make some nicer tack welds. Brace your hands somehow. That's nice. Not always doable. It's a weird angle. Oh, too close. Some frame builders probably looking at me screaming like, what are you doing? Doing it. So whatever. Okay. On to this. Oh, earthquake! I just hit the camera. Don't worry, it is California. But, you know, if you grew up out here, the earthquakes are just part of life, man, and they're not that bad. Get used to them. I slept through that big shaker in the 94 earthquake. Slept right through that thing. No, whatever. What are you going to do about it? There's an earthquake. Yeah, go outside. Dogs and cats know what to do. Why are we dumber? Oh. Too much there. Got it. Okay, that's all done. Okay. Alright. Get this top of the stage tack. Good. Down to the bottom here, where the dropout is. It. A little harder. The dropout's just a solid piece of bar stock that I machined, so you know, a little trickier to get it to attack. Don't want to burn through the tube. Gotta heat up the dropout first. Into the frame tube. That's tacked. Okay, I'm just going to do a couple more tacks on either side of that, and it's pretty much ready to be pulled out. So we'll call that good. Thank you.